Guys, this video is brought to you by our partners at Geology. Geology's won all sorts of awards for their skin, hair, and body care products, and they've been featured in Men's Health, Esquire, and Ask Men. They make simple and effective skin and hair care routines customized for you. All of their products are built around a handful of powerful, proven ingredients that have been trusted by dermatologists for decades. I'm loving their morning cream with SPF 30 to make sure I'm protected from the sun, and their deodorant helps me stay fresh in the heat. My favorite scent is the deep jasmine and clove. Right now, for a limited time, Geology is hooking you up with an insane offer. Use my code Chael70 or scan the QR code on the screen to get an exclusive 70% off their award-winning skincare trial set. On top of that, you get to save 30% on add-on products of your choice when you add it to your trial. This is one of the best offers you will see, so get it before it's gone. All you got to do is click on the link below. I got to clear something up. I like and I want to encourage Islam to stay out there entertaining in the off time. And that is not what is in his heart. That is just not what is in the people and the things that he believes in and respects, and the people who he is attempting to serve and he's attempting to represent. It's not what he knows, and it's not what he believes in. It's hard for him, but I still want to encourage. It was hard for Henry Cejudo as well, till he embraced it and went with it. I say it because Islam's very interesting, and Islam's not afraid to kick a little dust up here and there, and he does it in his own way. He doesn't use profanity by example, but he still will put down some pretty hot takes here and there, and I want him to keep doing it. Another thing he doesn't do is come out and defend himself. He doesn't come out and brag, and he doesn't come out and defend himself. Islam yesterday called out Leon. Now, I appreciate this in one regard, and one regard only. I don't like anyone that calls for a fight that they can't get. You got to have a plan and a strategy, and you got to get it. Because if you're the champion of the world and you call for something and you don't get it, you just showed the world where your power or lack thereof stands. Now, nobody in this business has power. By the way, there's one guy with power. But the perception can be very, very helpful. So when Islam called out Leon, okay, a couple of things that this tells me and that I liked is we're finally to an acceptance that Charles isn't gonna do the fight. And I think that's important. I think it's important that we understand where we're at, because if there's an opportunity to be had, let's go and have it. We have that weight class on display in 10 days. So if those two juggernauts, I'm talking about Dustin and Justin, are now armed with the fact that the champ is looking for an opponent, I don't know if they're going to jump. I don't know that. But they need to know that. Everyone's kind of got to have some information to know what becomes available, what's even an option to go for, because it does come back to what I just said. Don't call for something that you can't get. I mean, Dustin and Justin aren't going to make that mistake. If they know Islam's tied up, they're not going to publicly call for it. That could be a very different answer if they know he's available. I can't assure you that it is, but it can be. It is now eligible for that. So it's important that we have accurate information. Okay. So that's one thing that Islam has now revealed for us. Volkanovski quickly came at him, said, "How come you didn't call me out? I'm the guy. I am your opponent. I am your rival. I'm the hardest match you've ever had. I'm the one that people want to see." I mean, Volk makes a very good point. And Volk is starting to get this on a very high level. And he's just starting to, but it's happening. So people took Volk's side. Hey, what's your deal? Why aren't you calling for Volk? You've never called for Volk. You've never once called for Volk. That's true. But I want to answer that question. Okay? This from Jump Street, and I'm talking about the night that Islam won the belt. He doesn't even get his 15 minutes of fame. He doesn't even get to give Ali and his mom and Khabib a hug. They got Volk in front of him with a microphone in front of the world, and he's got to now deal with this. He never promoted that fight. He never built that fight, but there's a reason, and it wasn't that he was scared. You put a guy in a very hard position when somebody smaller from a smaller weight class comes after him. The guy from that weight can do that. It's called punching up. It's okay and it's accepted. Volk could say something about Islam. You guys will take Volk's side. If Islam had said the same thing about Volk, the exact same thing, you would turn on Islam. And you might not even know why. What you're doing that because he's the bigger guy. That's a dick move. And we've all been through that at some point in our life. You're second grade on the bus and the fourth grader gives you some, you go, there's nothing I could do. This kid's a fourth grader, right? I mean, this is real. And we all understand this to some degree. And I do want to bring it up because this has been going on for a while. It's gone it's long enough. This idea that Islam doesn't want Volk or Islam's scared of Volk or he's not willing to take on Volk. None of those things are true. They want to make the fight. I guarantee you right now, I talk to Ollie every day. I guarantee you right now, Islam will take the fight. He will sign that paper. There'll be no negotiation. There'll be no back and forth. Hey, this is who we got for you. He'll sign the fight. In the meanwhile, he's got every right and even a responsibility to his own career to go after what he wants. And it doesn't matter why he doesn't want Volk. It doesn't matter. I'm just trying to tell you guys what's happening there to a degree. That was a very hard spot for Islam. That was a very hard spot the night he walks out in another guy's backyard to defend his title for the first time. And he's in a match where he's not going to get credit. Well, that's proven. That's not an opinion. He won the match. He didn't get credit. But he could have dominated the match. He wouldn't get credit. It could have been a stoppage in that fight. He wouldn't have gotten credit. It was a smaller guy. Smaller guy. There's no way to call him out. And there's nobody else that does either. I don't recall a time that that's ever happened where a heavier champion came after a smaller guy. So it's one of these tough spots. And I think that's wonderful that Volk is available because Volk had some kind of a hand, right? He it was a surgery. The fact that that's healed and he's already looking. I mean, we're getting a lot of really positive things here. And as far as Islam and having no opponent, that's not true. He's got an opponent. We don't even need the BMF title fight to happen to find out who that opponent is. We've already established we're not going with the number one contender. That's established. The number one contender took himself. So stop right there. You don't then turn to number two. If you're not going with the number one, it doesn't mean you go to number two. If you're not going with number one, now it's different. Now you can have some fun. Now you can go with who the crowd wants. Now you can go with a great match. There's a lot of things that you can do. You absolutely could turn right now to Benny DeRouche. You don't have to say, well, he lost his last fight. You do not have to do that. There's something in this industry known as survivor clause. It's not an invoked rule within the UFC, but there's something within our industry, and Benny could begin to argue. I'm just suggesting for you. I use Benny to make there's an opponent. His name's Michael Chandler. There's an opponent for Islam right now who's ready and who will fight him and who the audience wants to see fight him. His name's Michael Chandler. So before we go and we start looking at Leon, which interrupts the Colby fight, before we say, Volkanovski is coming off an injury, but let's get this rematch done. Before we do those things, and we can't, this is good stuff. But before we do that, I'm just going to remind you, we don't need the BMF fight. We don't need Dustin and Justin to settle business. We don't need anything to find an opponent that can headline in a main event and contest and be a threat and that the crowd wants. We don't need those things. We've got him. His name is Michael Chandler.